I recently picked up this Pokémon Crystal Edition Game Boy Color from a gaming convention, and this is one of the rarest Game Boy Colors out there. Now, luckily, I did not pay this price right here because the game was not included, but I do have my personal copy of Pokémon Crystal that we're gonna put in the box to complete the set. Pokémon Crystal is one of my favorite Game Boy games ever made, so I really want to get the box and Game Boy cleaned up as much as possible so we can add it to the collection. This box even still had the Nintendo Power subscription pamphlet where you could subscribe to Nintendo Power and they would include a copy of the Pokémon Crystal guide. Now that is a deal. The Game Boy itself does have a few small scratches that I'm going to try my best to buff out, but the first thing I want to do is remove this old sticker that was sealing the box. These types of stickers are notorious for damaging the box when you try to remove them, so I'm hitting it with a really low temp on my hot air station to try to loosen up some of that adhesive. That actually ended up working out really well. So now the last thing is just removing that pesky sticker on the front. I'm just kidding. This sticker is actually the only reason that this particular Game Boy is worth so much money. The real last thing I need to do is actually just cleaning up the Game Boy itself. I start by buffing out the scratches with a really fine, wet, dry sandpaper. Next, we just need to open the Game Boy up and clean out all of its components. For this, I'm just using an old toothbrush and some isopropyl alcohol. The Game Boy itself wasn't all that dirty. The only thing that really needed to be cleaned up well was the buttons themselves, which is great to see because that means somebody played this thing a lot. And when all that is said and done, the only thing left to do is to give it a test. The Pokémon Crystal that I'm putting in the box is special to me because it was my good friend Jake's original copy from when we were kids. A couple of years ago when I first started modding Game Boys, he sold it to me really cheap since it had a dead battery. I fixed it up and it's staying in the collection now with this guy.